Delarite, my MVVs, welcome. Yes, so Delarite report has it that, Ooni of Ife stayed 7 hours, outside Òsàrà Grove, waiting for Queen Naomi to finish her prayers and fasting. And this is something that has stunned everybody. Like, people couldn't believe it. Like what is even going on here? And this is why I say there is nothing that love cannot do. Nobody is above love. When love comes, this is what we are hearing, if the information is true. 7 hours outside the sacred Òsàrà Grove, the Ooni of Ife, of course, the ruler of the Yoruba people, sat in quiet reverence surrounded by his entourage, chiefs and royal guards. Yet it wasn't the grove's ancient mystery that held them there with such, stillness and rare patience. It was Queen Naomi, and not just any moment with her, but one of her deep spiritual, as in one of deep spiritual significance, She had gone in for prayers, a personal consecration, fasting ritual that would mark the beginning of her spiritual preparation for what palace insiders now whisper as her impending reinstatement, Now, as we are hearing, they said, for those of us who may not know the Òsàrà Grove, because I don't even know it myself, or I didn't even know it myself, I just heard about it now. The Òsàrà Grove is no ordinary piece of land hidden within the expensive spiritual territory of Ile-Ife. It is one of the lesser known but spiritually potent grove used by the royal family for private traditional rite, meditation, and communion with the ancestors, normally reserved for traditionalists and high-ranking palace priests. It is a place that hums with ancestral energy. Entry is highly restricted, and women are seldom allowed, without special spiritual, clearance. But Queen Naomi changed it when she got into the palace. They say when she was in the palace, she changed it, Queen Naomi, known for her deep prophetic calling and devotion to God, had once requested a space where she could worship in her own Christian way without interfering with the sacredness of Yoruba traditionalism, Many in the palace were skeptical. How could one mesh the intense fire of Yoruba spiritualism with Christian doctrine? Naomi held, so dear, but the Ooni, visibly moved by her faith and conviction, granted the unprecedented approval to, designate a part of Òsàrà Grove, a secluded portion, as a neutral spiritual zone. It was a bold, historic move that many insiders say could only be done for Queen Naomi. As we are hearing since then, a small altar, modest yet elegant, was erected in the path of the grove. While it did not carry any crucifix or religious symbol, it was a space of silence, purity, and prayer. Queen Naomi would occasionally go there to pray, especially before major, decisions or milestones. And this time, it was for a powerful reason, for her upcoming return to the palace. Word in the palace corridors is that talks had reached the final stage, and soon Naomi would once again wear her royal, sash and command her quarters, not as an ex-wife, but as a restored queen, beloved and adorned. Welcome back to my channel. It's your girl Delarite. I bring you fresh and spicy gist from the source, and it's still on the royals. Happy Easter to all of my Christians fans here. Appreciate you. May God bless you. He was crucified on the cross. He rose again the third day, and today we have life. We are healed, and everything is great because of the blood and because of the cross. We are happy to be celebrating this, period with all of us across the globe. May God bless you with your heart desires and everything. Thank you so much. If you're here and you're yet to subscribe, kindly go ahead and hit that subscribe button, and do not forget to turn on the notification bell, and do not forget to give this video a thumbs up. Now, as we are hearing, on this day, she had chosen to fast and break her fast in that same grove. What no one expected what no one had ever seen was, the Ooni of Ife himself arriving in full royal regalia, accompanied by his trusted aides and chief, sitting quietly and waiting, not for a council meeting, not for an ancestral rite, but simply waiting for Queen Naomi to finish her prayers. At this point, okay, at first the Entourage assumed it was a brief stopover. Perhaps the Oni would grant her a moment and then return to the palace. But 1 hour passed, then 2, then 3, then the 4th hour murmur began circulating among the guards. Kabiyesi is still waiting, they whispered. Some tried to convince him to return to the palace and leave a few attendants behind, but he waved them off gently. Let her take her time, he said. She's not alone. That was what the Ooni of Ife said. Quietly, things are happening. Oh, things are happening. Queen Naomi is winning and winning every day. By the 5th hour, his aides were visibly restless. The Ooni, a man of appointment, revered for his time, discipline, and ability to, juggle national meetings with traditional obligations, had, cleared his schedule to be present for one woman, a woman whose prayer echoed beyond human understanding, a woman whose spiritual energy he seemed completely drawn to. It was more than love, it was reverence. The 6th hour came with a gentle breeze through the ancient trees. The grove had gone quiet. Even the rustling leaf seemed to know something significant was happening. Queen Naomi was still deep in prayer. No one dared interrupt. By the 7th hour, just as the sun began to descend, Queen Naomi emerged, dressed in white, radiant and glowing with that undeniable aura of grace that always followed her. Her eyes were damp, not from tears of sorrow, but from spiritual release. She had met with the divine and she was at peace. Love! The moment she stepped out, the Oni, rose slowly, regally. The entire entourage followed suit. He walked to her and offered his hand. Did you finish well? He asked softly. She nodded. God has spoken, she replied. The entourage watched in awe. Chief, seasoned palace aide warriors there had never seen the Oni this gentle, this personal. One of the older chief whispered to another, this is more than love. This is destiny. Okay, this is what we are hearing, if the information is true. And indeed it was. The group, once a space of strictly traditional rituals, had now become a witness to a love story that defied norms, cultures, and even religion. Queen Naomi had brought change, not just spiritual, but structural through her. A bridge had been created between the old and the new, between tradition and faith, between, duty and desire. As they walked back to the fleet of royal cars, one of the aides reportedly said, Kabiyesi, we never expected this level of patience. And the Oni, without, turning, simply responded, you do not rush when heaven is speaking. This is what we are hearing, if the information is correct. That night, the palace was abused. The senior queens had what had happened. Some were silent, others were visibly shaken. Queen Naomi wasn't just returning, she was returning with a renewed spiritual backing, and the Ooni of Ife himself had shown the world where his heart truly lies. Inside sources said that since that day, the palace routine has subtly shifted. Queen Naomi's quarters, though not yet officially, reinstated, have been reopened and polished. Gifts from traditional leaders across Yoruba land have been arriving quietly in anticipation, and the Oni, he is more radiant, more present, more grounded, as if a missing part of him had returned. It's no longer a question of if Queen Naomi will be reinstated. It's now a matter of when. The Òsàrà group will forever remember that day, not because of what was prayed for, but because of what was proven. Love is powerful, and that is what everybody will always know. If nobody knows, okay, Queen Naomi and the Ooni of Ife, they are so head over heels in love with each other, and it's going to stay that way. I'm going to bring you more update. Do not forget that these are all alleged, rumored, unverified information making the rounds on social media and should not be seen as fact. I appreciate you so much. Thank you.